Well, hey everybody, I'm John Rickland. This is my review of AEW Dark. And these are dark matches that were taped before the Washington, D.C. episode went live on TNT. And it looks like they're going to be doing this every single week and showing them on their YouTube channel Tuesday nights, which is pretty damn smart. Not wholly original. Other companies have done this. WWE has done this with Main Event and other dark matches that they've had. And other wrestling companies have, sometimes shown matches like, hey, here's what you didn't get to see on the live broadcast. Though I do like AEW using YouTube as, a format and as a platform to say, hey, we have this great roster and we're going to give you guys more wrestling, which is really, really nice. Now, it's only an hour-long show, and some of these matches were of varying quality. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest. I'm going to be mean, kind of mean about a couple aspects of this particular episode, and you guys can probably figure out why, especially if you already watch the show and you want to see what I have to say. I do encourage you guys to check this out, though. I do hope that this takes off and All Elite Wrestling can do great numbers on YouTube, and I also hope that TNT and USA, with AEW and NXT respectively, can just have some great, great ratings and everything, and wrestling itself can prosper. So anyway, Tony Schiavone introduces us and runs on the whole idea, and in between the matches, like before this match and in between matches, he runs down stuff that's going to happen on future broadcasts and stuff that happened on the debut episode. So it was really nice, and it's great to see Tony Schiavone back on a major wrestling promotion. I know he did work for MLW, but it's just nice to see him on, just featured on something, especially something associated with TNT, since he had such a voice on that network for so many years. So, first match is Darby Allin versus Shima. I always screw that up because I always want to say Shima. It's actually Shima. Darby Allin, I've seen him multiple times at local wrestling events here in Washington. Great guy, by the way. If you ever get a chance to meet Darby Allin, super cool guy. And boy, he is really good in the ring. And so is Shima. This was a very enjoyable match. With some good offense. Darby just with some quick dives. It's just amazing how fast he moves. I don't know how fast he's going to move by the time he's 30 or 35, but my God, he is enjoyable to watch now. He does miss a coffin drop at one point. Shima grounds with a really, really nice, submission variation. He's really, really good in the ring. I mean, he's been wrestling for a number of years, and you can just tell he has a wealth of experience, and he is really, really good. Darby does at one point, get Shima in the tree of woe, and then starts, working on the knee, and even headbutting the knee at one point. That's a good idea, take your head and ram it into a bone. That's a good. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Darby's cool. It doesn't seem like the best idea because you might get a bad head injury. But boy, Darby is just insane and very, very unique offense here. And then Shima takes it to Darby, actually does some pretty good stuff. Ends up hitting a meteor to the back of the head for 2. There were some other good moves. Darby almost got the pinfall at one point, but then ended up finally successfully hitting the coffin drop. 1, 2, 3. And Darby Allin gets the victory. So that was some good stuff. I enjoyed this match. It was nice, enjoyable, quick, and both guys got a chance to shine, and Darby got a victory to continue his rise, after that great draw that he had against Cody. Then we get Tony Schiavone writing down future broadcasts, as I said, Jimmy Havoc and Darby Allin. The winner will face Chris Jericho on the 16th, which is going to be pretty interesting. Then we get the Lucha Bros. Angelico and Jack Evans versus the Best Friends, Private Party, and oh boy, the Best Friends brought somebody that I absolutely can't stand. If you are a fan of Orange Cassidy, I'm going to do this when I'm done knocking him. I'm warning you guys because I have my opinions, and I'm not saying you guys can't be fans of him. You can be fans of him. That is totally cool. I'm just not. And so again, when I do this again, that's when I'm done knocking the guy. So, it starts that you got Orange Cassidy, who I can't fucking stand. I can't fucking stand this gimmick. I hate it. I know that it's supposed to entertain the fans and that people find it entertaining. That's great, but I fucking hate it. It's fucking lazy. It's fucking stupid. I can't stand it. I don't know why it irks me so much, but it just bothers me to no goddamn end. So it starts off with some cool dives and everything. This match was a car crash, though. And I mean, I like most of these guys. I like pretty much, all these guys in the match that were actually competitors and not, people with their goddamn motherfucking hands in their goddamn pockets. But anyway, it was a bit sloppy. It was just a spot fest. There was one point in Orange Cassidy's spot where I think it was Angelico that slapped him and slapped the glasses off his face. And I'm like, okay, good. He got in the way of the match, and that's what you're supposed to do with anybody that gets in the way of the goddamn match. So Mark Quinn kept his Demolition Man sunglasses on. That was a pretty cool spot. um, Private Party's really goddamn good, and they have something with them. They really, really do. Um, but then we get another Orange Cassidy spot. He does a dive with his hands in his pockets because everybody's diving, and I fucking hate it. And they cut to a kid that's dressed up like Orange Cassidy. Those oh boy, that kid, his parents have fucking failed him, haven't they? I'm sorry. I'm sure that kid's nice, and I'm sure the parents are lovely people. But fucking Christ, can you find somebody better to dress up as? Good God, this is just fucking embarrassing. And then you got Chuck Taylor pinned by the Lucha Bros, well pinned by Pentagon. And then it seems like Angelico, Jack Evans, and the Lucha Bros were all like upset and everything because even though they won, they were all in like this great competition because all these teams are in competition in the tag team tournament. So by the way, so in case you guys tuned out for a little bit or whatever, or went to get something to drink while I railed against Orange Cassidy because I don't like him. There you go. That was your cue. So anyway, now we get to Tony Schiavone talking about the tag tournament and then recapping the women's title match, the women's tag match. Actually, which is segues to a women's tag match. It's Penelope Ford and Bea Priestley, hopefully selling more shit than she did against Sadie Gibbs at the in that battle royal. And they took on Britt Baker, Dr. Britt Baker, and Allie. And look, I want to say that this match went a little bit longer than it needed to. There were some sloppy spots, not as many as that 8-man tag, though. I think it had more to do with the fact that these women were just probably nervous being on this big of a stage. That would just be my guess, and I think that actually could apply to every single person, in these dark matches. But when they hit their spots, they hit their spots pretty well. Penelope Ford, I've been very impressed with. She has really shined and improved. Hit a beautiful handspring elbow into the corner. Britt comes in and tangles with Bea because Bea kept kept playing defense. She didn't want to get tangled up with Britt. Earlier, there was some arm focus on Allie. And it did pick up near the end. There was some actually really good double teaming. Some really, really good double teaming. And then at one point, I think at one point, like Penelope Ford hit this move or whatever. And JR says, well, they say nothing runs like a Ford. I gotta admit that popped me. That did pop me. And then, so Baker ends up getting a crossface variation and even like grabs the teeth. I'm not going to try to do it, but grabs the teeth of Penelope Ford and gets her to tap out. Okay, good. And I was happy to see these women get a chance to shine. Hopefully, Penelope Ford can be featured in a singles role because she has something. She really does. We then get Shivani right now. More of the card. We get a full gear ad, and if Derb was here, he would do the Metal Gear voice, the Solid Snake voice, that is. And then we get SCU, which is Frankie Kazarian, Scorpio Sky, and Christopher Daniels. Last but not least, of course, got to meet SCU at a Defied Northwest Wrestling show. Great guys. Got to meet Christopher Daniels at a 2-day Defied Northwest Wrestling event when he stepped in because Brian Cage, unfortunately, was injured. And let me just tell you this. Christopher Daniels has been one of my favorites. Frankie Kazarian's been one of my favorites. And Scorpio Sky has impressed me for a number of years. And they are a great trio. I know they're not everybody's cup of tea, which is weird because I really think they're goddamn good. But anyway, they took on the Jurassic Express, which apparently includes Marco Stunt. However, the real stars of this are Luchasaurus, the Lucha Bros. Luchasaurus teaming with the Lucha Bros would be nice. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. And Jungle Boy. They're great. They're an absolutely great team. And then you got this freaking little midget kid. Mark, I know you're not supposed to say the word midget anymore, but for God's sakes, it's this little kid, Marco Stunt. Look, nothing wrong with living your dream, but just keep him outside. No, it's not believable to watch a guy this small it's not. I'm sorry. It's just not. It's just not. And I've watched wrestling for a number of years. I know that he's got his fans. That's fine. You can like him. I don't. Yay, more Marco Stunt stuff in this. Hooray. That stupid floss dance. That right there, whoever invented that dance is a goddamn, I'm sorry, it's a stupid dance. And I'm not saying he invented it. He clearly didn't. But yeah, Jungle Boy got beat up. There was some nice stuff. Luchasaurus hugely over. There was some nice spots in this. There were some nice spots. Luchasaurus hitting a really nice standing moonsault. SCU super over. SCU does end up beating up Marco Stunt and pinning him. So thank fucking Christ, because I was worried Marco was going to get the pin. If they create 6-man tag titles, or at least have a co-branding with CMLL, like they plan to, hey, good idea. But anyway, yeah, that's going to be the end of that. I'm sorry, but there were a couple things I just didn't like about this. And a couple of the matches went a bit long. The crowd was into it at times, but then it seemed like they almost died during the women's match for part of it, which I think was a little unfair towards the women. I also think they showed these out of sequence because it seemed like almost like the Darby Shima match was the last one, was the last match that they recorded. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just misinterpreting. But anyway, B minus. I'm sorry. There were things I probably would have gone a B, but I gotta knock it down half a grade because look, you can call me biased, but there are certain people I don't like in the company, and if I don't like how they're being used, and there are certain other things I didn't like, B minus, but still enjoyable. Probably no poll above my head, but like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.